Yes, first of all, my respect to judges, international, national guests, or workers who are participating in today People's Tribunal. I am one of the protector of the workers. Just like you may be aware that our workers always complain the difficulty they have encountered in their daily work, as well as the submission of the petition to the panel of judges in today's tribunal. So today the workers have the opportunity to complain in front of the judges as well as in today's People's Tribunal. The issues the workers is going to present, we have 4 cases. First will be presented would be by Madam Hiet Kum Hu in Grand Twin International Court today. The second case study will be presented by Madam Nguyen Ching Hu, workers at M&V Kampong Chnam branch, and with Mr. Ha Kum Siet, also a worker in Blue Sang factory. The third case would be presented by Sun Sekonti, Vice President of the Garment Nective, and fourth case study would be presented by Sam Pekadei, the Secretary General of CICADO. So first of all, I would like to invite Madam Hiep Kum Hu, worker of Grand Twin International, to come and present this testimony to the judges. Thank you. My greeting to brothers and sisters, my dear colleague workers, international and national guests, and all experts. My name is Hiệp Công Hur. I am 27 years old. I got married and I have one son, age 2, who lives with me in my room rented near the factory. Currently, I am living in Kampong Thom province, about 170 kilometers away from Phnom Penh. My husband is a construction worker and he could only earn 30 to 40 USD per month because this is a regular job. I am a government worker for more than 5 years, but now I have moved to work for Grand Twin International for 4 months now. This factory is located in Tropang Po, Sangkat Cham Chao, Kandang Kao district, Phnom Penh, Cambodia. Yeah, I work in Grand Twins International with base wages 66 USD, including 2 hours overtime work, and totally I get from 80 to 95 USD per month. My husband's wage is only 30 to 40, and 2 persons add up together only around 100 per month. Therefore, I can earn, 2 of us can earn from 120 to 150, but I have to pay to the rent utility 30 USD per month, buying grocery $5 per month, paying the rent, the room $6, $20 for rice, and I pay another $20 to my younger brother to look after my son, $15 for medical care, another $15 for clothing, and I pay daily. For example, in the morning I paid 2,500 real for breakfast, lunch 2,500, and in the evening, dinner, it costs 5,000 real. So I pay 10,000 real per day and 75 USD per month. So totally I need to spend around 180 to 185 USD per month, but my wage is only between 120 to 150 USD. I have to borrow from others 50 USD per month to support my living with $10 interest every month, and I work overtime 2 hours to support my food. I am very worried that my son has not gone to school yet. I in work, I cannot have money, and I in debt. I am worried that one day I and my husband fall ill. I cannot afford for treatment fee or for my son's education. And my elder sister, is also sick. I sent to her $10 per month, and I would like to suggest or request to international and national judges who are present here, please help us to improve a living wage, to give a living wage to me as well as to my colleagues. Thank you. Yes, thank you very much for the presentation of your case. I know that time is limited, so I would like to ask one thing which is related to buying food, as you mentioned. You mentioned lunch, breakfast and dinner. So is it your personal expense? So you have your son, with you, your younger sister. So how your son and your sister eat, and what is the cost? Actually, my expense, it is a very minimum one, because I only buy the cheapest food. With large quantity, because the food does not have meat, and the vegetable is not good quality. I just buy for enough to eat between me, my son and my husband. Yes, I would like to know a little bit clearer. For example, 2,500 real in the morning, the noon time, or 5,000 in the evening. So for your whole households, or for only you? In particular, breakfast and lunch. This is a total expense for our households, not me alone. Thank you. I would like a little bit clarification from you, because you mentioned that every month you borrow money from others. So starting from you started your work 5 years ago, so every month you need to borrow others. So on and on, you could not pay back. You only pay interest. Is it? Am I right? I only pay the interest. So now you now are in debt. So every month, is it accumulating? No. Actually, I sometimes when I get my salary, I pay interest, and sometimes I pay the back, and sometimes when I lack of money, I just borrow back the money. So one more question: and your friends, your colleagues working with you, do they have same problems? They need to borrow to support yourself? Is it that? Yes, some do, some don't, because that depends on their family, because some of them, they can be well off than us. Thank you.
May I ask one short question, possibly because of, you understand, my inner situation? It goes back to what has been said. I imagine that you are a witness here because your situation is representative of many other situations. Now, I wonder whether those who are in the same position of needing some kind of borrowing procedure, is there any, say, collective organization to at least assist those workers who need to borrow some money? Otherwise, if you are bound to ask private donors, will be more and more difficult, and the overall process for so many workers could be supported by trade unions, NGOs. I wonder whether that could be a way of decreasing the pressure of these borrowing needs. Did you, so on one point, is there any support for those workers who need to borrow money because they cannot support, otherwise they are in the hands of those who could practice really bad condition of borrowing money and therefore to force even more to a bad condition? You've got to consult, you can say something whether you know whether it exists or not, because if you are not aware it does exist or not, for me is enough. Then I could ask later on whether there are other conditions. You are not aware that there are collective support, you are bound to request private borrowing.
Yes, we have one organization coming to help us, but for our household we are very poor, so we cannot borrow the organization, so no one there give me loan. Yeah, my name Tida. I am the protector of the worker. I respect the judge panel as well as national and international guests. I would like to clarify to the answers here. You asked whether we have any organization to give loan to workers. Actually, so far, no any organization or NGOs to provide the loan, but we do have microfinance institutions or banks like Aclida. We need to have have what we call take the loan when we have the land or property for that, so that we can take the loan.
I wanted to ask some questions away from the question of wages to conditions in the fact. Could I ask, are you a member of a union?
No, I'm not a member.
Okay. Presumably the unions have information and support also, but I guess we'll get into that later. The one question I wanted to ask you was about conditions in the factories. Have you ever seen a labor inspector in your place of work? In any of the factories that you have worked?
Yes, I have. Yes, some people come to inspect the factory, but no changes. Same faces coming again and again.
Okay. When they inspect the factory, do they go around the factory with officials from the factory or by themselves?
Yes, we have officers from the factory, accompany them walking in each row, in each group to inspect.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I have one more question in relation to treatment healthcare. First, I would like to know, when you are sick, your expense on your treatment, so you consider average cost or you have to spend this every month? And what about in the factory? Do we have any nurses or doctors to help workers at all? Yes, this is my average expenses. But in the factory we have nurses. We can ask for help 2 times. But when we are sick outside the factory, we need to buy medications. Outside the factory, we need to pay. with healthcare, I've heard that in the factory we have nurses. What about when you get sick? Now you mentioned that when you are sick, what you are going to do. So when you are sick, you are workers. The nurse does not care of you. If we are sick in the factory, we have factories nurses to take care of us. They give us medication, yeah, and then we can work. But when we get serious, the factory can send us to the hospital, and the factory can pay for us. But when we are outside the factory, we need to look for the treatment by ourselves. Meaning that when you go back home and you get sick, the factory is not responsible for that. Yes. So, but when you are working in the factory is responsible. Yes. So you alone. What about your son? No, the factory is not responsible for my son's treatment. Yes, I would like to clarify with that, because in the factory they have nurses, but it's only first aid when workers encounter some workplace incident. They have first aid box. When we have serious cases, the factory sends to the factories. The responsibility most of the time, if it is workplace incident, the factory will be responsible. But if it is the personal illness, yeah, most of the time the workers must go to the hospital outside and pay for their treatment.
Yes,
I would like to ask one question in relation to when you need emergency cash for treatment, or sometimes you take loan. I would like to know that your union, what are the roles and responsibility of the union there, whether they can help with emergency money for treatment, the roles of your unions. Yeah, it seems that it does not help me anything, because when I am sick, my son's sick, I pay by myself, no any assistance from the union.
I would like to ask you, before you said that when the inspectors come to the factory, they just look around and nothing changes. Could you tell us what you would like to have changed in the conditions, not the wages, but the conditions in the factory? What would in a perfect world, what would you like to see improved in the factories in which you have worked?
Yes, I would like changes, like when I have been working there for a long time and my son gets sick, the factory should help me, yeah, with the medication, with the treatment.
I really wanted to know what inside the factory, the temperature, air conditioning, better fans, ventilation, breaks. I understand you work straight through from 7 to 11, is that true, without a break? Are there any other conditions that you would like to have which would make your working life more pleasant, less destructive of your health? Perhaps another way of putting it is, what are the bad conditions that you would like to have improved?
Yes, I would like to have it changed. For example, air conditioning. I would like to have air conditioning so that we can have a better temperature. and I would like to have air conditioning and
Is there dust in the workplace?
yes, we have dust because we have little ventilation, so the ventilation cannot get the dust out, so that is why we get sick very often. We have lots of small article, when we inhale into our breath. Yes, I would like to ask a follow-up question. That does the factory distribute any mask to all workers? No. You are not wearing mask. No, we are not wearing mask. And the particle, lots of particles. Yes, lots of particles. Do you feel some dry with your throat? Sometimes, I sneeze. Sometimes I cough. Every day.
Okay, thanks for this witness. As I said before, in case the panel could come back when we have heard all the witnesses for that. Thanks for your presentation.
Yes, I would request not to work overtime for many hours and not to work on holidays, and I would like an increase of basic wage. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's go for the second witness.